Hi, I'm Elemi from Yeyeo Botanica. Welcome back. It's so great to see you all. Thank you for sharing us with others and coming back. And if it's your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're at www.yeyeo, and I'm Elemi. We're a spiritual and wellness supplier, which is why I do videos about all things spiritual. Today, I want to shout out. I want to shout out everyone from Baltimore, Maryland. Woo! Thank you so much for joining us and sharing us with others. Today, I wanted to share something with you all that came to me when I did the live video on why pay for spiritual work. So if you haven't seen that live, definitely check it out. Today, I want to talk about what happens in a spiritual reading. Spiritual readings are a little bit different than high-level divination, so we're going to kind of crack that egg a little bit, talk a little bit more about it, and if you'd like me to do a live, definitely comment below on this subject or anything we talk about today. So, let's get started. I thought a little bit about talking about readings today. I've been reading for a very long time, I think, well over 20 years. I tell people I'll read anything. I'll read the rocks in the parking lot if you give me those. But I read children, adults, seniors. I've read animals, read places, all different forms of readings I've done. I've been very blessed and gifted to be able to do that. And so I thought today we could talk a little bit more about what are some of the things to expect in a spiritual reading. And so before we get into that a little bit, I want to explain a little bit more about the different types of readings, but just want to stick to two main ones, spiritual and divination. If you'd like me to do a video on different types of spiritual or different types of readings, definitely comment below, because there's so many different types, and sometimes people only have one and they think all of them are going to be the same. So definitely comment below if you'd like me to do a video on the different types of readings. But spiritual readings are guided through spiritual insight that is brought to the person through a spirit guide and or guides and ordinations, or you would say initiations, kind of fused together, right? So the more we do something is the stronger it becomes, the thicker the wall gets, and the more Ashe. Remember my Ashe. If you haven't seen my Ashe video, definitely look that up, right? Because that is about infinite power, infinite energy, right? So the more that someone does readings, it strengthens this Ashe that they have with their guides, with the deities that are with them, with the initiations that they have, to be able to give the person stronger information. But if you do not have any of those things and you've just started reading, well, that is with your spirit guides who come to help you to give information to someone, or when a person comes for a reading, the diviner or the reader is working with their own guides to help to give you information. Whether it goes either direction, it's the same premise. So a spiritual reading can involve some tools, tarot cards being one of them, and then palms, tea leaves, coffee grinds, smoke, water, nothing, right? Or you think it's nothing, but there's a guide there that's assisting in that reading. Versus divination, divining, right? To deal with the divine, right? So that usually means that the person has some training in order to do that kind of reading, or they or have gone through some type of ceremony in order to give them the strength, give them the Ashe of that particular system. So for those of us who are Yoruba, Lukumi practitioners in the New World, dealing with Orisha worship or anything like that, we are ordained to be able to divine with shells, to divine with the chain, to divine in whatever system it is. If a person is a shaman in South America, as an example, or a curandero, and they have gone through formal training, that is a form of divination. Divination looks at the person, shows them in the positive or in the negative as it pertains to their destiny of life. Those of you who've read with me before, you've heard this term. So today we're going to focus more on spiritual readings, but it's important for you to understand those two differences because sometimes people think they're all the same and they're not. There are 4 things that you should expect in any type of reading: divination and or spiritual reading, right? And divination, remember, deals with a deity versus spiritual reading deals with the layer of psychic information that is in the world. If you'd like me to do a video on psychic information, the differences of psychic and so on, comment below. That is such a juicy subject. You guys are going to love it. So the first thing that you need to expect to prepare yourself with so that the person giving you information can help you with is clarity, right? And so people say, well, I'm confused. That's why I'm having a reading. Right. The person is here to bring you clarity, but you must be ready to receive clarity, right? So they can give you all this information. You should not be leaving the reading still confused, right? If you're still confused, something didn't get clarified or you did not ask questions to get that clarity. So clarity is key. If you're paying for a reading, you're getting a reading, and you leave that reading without clarity, you've wasted your time. Hello? Clarity is number 1, no matter what I've talked about in this video, clarity is number 1, right? 2 is insight. Insight into a situation, insight into your life, insight into resolutions. Why? Because the reading is supposed to bring you information, to give you clarity, to have insight as to how things may play out or what's going on in your life to make decisions, right? So then the third thing is when we have clarity, we have insight, we can make choices that are best for us. And so the information that is brought through in divination and or spiritual readings is to give you clarity, is to give you insight, and is to help you to make the best choices for yourself. Spirit does not make choices for us. They give us options. We have to make the decision. Why? Because we come in free will. We live in free will. We went to get the reading in free will. This is why I talk about this in Why Pay for Spiritual Work live video. Check that out. And then the last thing is it brings us possibilities, right? At least in my reading, I give you guys possibilities. So clarity, insight, choices, and possibilities. Why? Because when you have all that information, you're able to make choices that can change the trajectory of your life, change where you live, who you're living with, where you're living, where you're working, what decisions you're making, so that possibilities open up, possibilities that you may have never in a million years thought about, because Spirit knows more about us than we know about ourselves. So I hope those 4 juicy insights are helpful for you in going along, whether it be you're reading yourself, you're getting readings, you're looking for clarity, you're looking for insight. And if you read with me, keep those things in mind. And see you next time. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.